Welcome to the Alchemy of Ascension Summit, where you learn to raise your frequency to connect more deeply with yourself, your soulmate, and the divine. I am your host, Washela Sananda, and today I am going to be talking to the wonderful Pamela Osley. And I'm so excited for this conversation. I feel like a kid in a candy store right now. But first, please join me for a short alignment process, about a 2-minute meditation, so we can all really get present to receive this information and conversation today. So begin by closing your eyes and deepening your breath into your belly. And as you're breathing, tune your awareness into your heart center and the light within your heart. And now as you're breathing and feeling into that light in your heart, just feel your heart light growing out around your chest. And then tune your awareness into the central sun far above your head. And this is the heart light of the divine masculine. And bring that light of the central sun down into the top of your head, all the way to the bottoms of your feet, and then back up into your heart center, joining with the light within your heart. And now tune your awareness into the center of the earth. This is the heart of the Mother Earth and the heart light of the divine feminine. And then bring that energy, the heart light of the divine feminine, up through the layers of the earth, into the bottoms of your feet and the base of your spine, all the way up to the top of your head like liquid crystal plasma, and then into your heart center, joining with the light from above and the light within you, creating a holy trinity of light and expanding that light out around you, and then out to connect with every other person watching or listening to this across all time and space. And then also connect in with myself and with Pam so that you may feel completely supported on this ascension journey. We are all in this together, helping each other raise our frequency and create a new reality together. And so with that, thank you so much for doing that with me. And hopefully we're all really focused now and present. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you Pamela Osley. Welcome, Pam.
Hi, great to see you. Thank you for having me part of your summit.
It's my pleasure, and I'm so grateful to have you. So a little bit about Pam, if you're not familiar with her work, she is so accomplished and she's done so much. I'm only going to tell you a little bit of her accomplishments. Pamela is an author, a consultant, a radio show host, a professional psychic intuitive, and an aura expert. Pamela has appeared many places, including ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, Dr. Oz, The View, Coast to Coast with George Norrie, and I mean, so many more. Gaiam TV, it goes on. Pam has written 4 books, and she's done a TED Talk, which you can go watch. And she was awarded the Holistic Transformational Leader of the Year award in 2014 by the Global Association of Holistic Psychotherapy and Coaching. And Pam is also very well known, maybe best known for her auracolors.com website and also lovecolors.com. And you can go there and have your aura color quiz done and get your aura colors, and that's all free. So go do that. And so that is just a small amount of who you are and what you're about. But welcome, Pam. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. We're going to have fun, right?
Oh, we're going to have so much fun. Yeah, there is so much. Like it was hard for me to choose questions for you because there's so much to talk about. But, I figured we should probably kind of begin at the beginning. Many people know you, but some don't. So I would love to hear a little bit about how did you discover your abilities? You have a lot of psychic abilities. You're in tune with your advanced consciousness. And how did this come about for you?
Well, just so you know, my whole life has been about wanting to expand and search and seek and be spiritual and expansive. And I study quantum physics. So my whole life has been basically an explorer. I don't like boundaries. So I was pushing out all the time and wanting to know more. And one night I went to hear a psychic speak. And of course, this was not how I was raised, just so you know. You weren't supposed to do stuff like that. But I went to hear a psychic speak. I walked into the room and he went, "You up here, you know how to do this too." So he pulled me up in front of the group that night and said, "Okay, I want you to tell people what you see about them." So basically, he threw me in the water. So,
Wow.
ah,
Sink or
um,
swim.
yeah, that's it. And it was odd because I noticed that I was picking up things about people that I'd never even met these people. And I know a woman over to my side was pregnant. She didn't even know she was pregnant. It was the first time ever I saw the spirit of a little girl standing next to this woman. So I knew she was pregnant. She didn't know. She went to the doctor later, found out she was pregnant. She ended up having a little girl. So I started doing psychic work. It was amazing. I just started realizing. And then when I look back over time, because I believe we all have these abilities, I really do. That's why I teach this. It's expanded consciousness. I mean, if you go science, they're saying we only use what, 3% of our brain or
Right.
10%, something really small. So we're capable of doing this. So after I was doing that type of intuitive and psychic work and clairvoyant and clairaudient, I met a woman who could see auras, and she described to me what she was seeing, and it fit with what I was picking up psychically about people. So then I developed the ability to see and sense auras and know what the person's personality was like, their theme for coming here, their careers, their relationship, all of that stuff is in the aura. So anyway, it just developed, and I've been doing this now for over 35 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And so it's like you just kind of got naturally pulled into it. But isn't that what happens? The universe just sort of guides us and takes us where we need to go to turn on what we need to do and find our purpose.
That's it. And then the psychic, when he got me into it, he said, "You've been asking to go to the next level, and this is it." How did you know that's what I wanted to do? And then I realized, when I look back over time, and when I realized I had these natural abilities, I looked back in my life and went, "Oh, no wonder I knew that," or "No wonder I knew to go over there," and "No wonder I knew that about the person." I looked back and realized that I had been picking up hits all along, but I hadn't put it in that category.
Wow. Yeah, it's so perfect, when you look back on your life and you see like, oh yeah, I was like being groomed for this all along. I just didn't know.
Mhm.
So I want to kind of dive into some really fun stuff here. Um, I've always been fascinated by the idea of time as nonlinear. I read Jane Roberts' The Education of Oversoul 7 in my 20s. It's a trilogy. I still to this day absolutely like it. Demonstrates the nonlinearity of the time matrix. And so you say you can consciously warp time. Tell me about how do you consciously warp time and how do you do that?
Well,
What's
I
that?
love that you brought up Jane Roberts, because
Oh, yeah.
Reading Seth, all the Seth books, that's where I quantum leapt. I mean, that
Oh,
changed
wow.
my life completely, because it's very advanced concepts. It's quantum physics. So being able to study quantum physics and Seth material, I started messing. I realized that time is basically it's a concept. It's a root assumption, as Seth calls it, that we think that we're limited. We think that we're linear beings, that it's past, present, future. But in quantum physics, they're discovering that there's really no such thing as time. It's all present time. So when you finally realize that, and that you're creating out of this present moment, then you're not limited by time anymore. So that's how I do parallel universes. And I mean, it's quantum physics. So how I warp time, basically, that's one way to say it. How I go into what I'm going to call parallel universes or other realms or other timelines, past, present, and future in this lifetime, past, present, and future in other lives. I call them other lives now instead of past lives, because on the other side, sweetie, there's no such thing as time. It's a physical reality concept that we've believed in, just like gravity and anything else. So when I started realizing that it's all simultaneous, I've been able to, that's how I do remote viewing and seeing people's past lives and future lives. When I do psychic readings, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but it's all connected. When I do psychic readings for people, the only way I can see their future is if it already exists. Einstein usually describes it this way. Let's say you haven't gone to some lake yet, but it still exists. You just haven't gotten there yet.
Mm.
So that way I can see people's future, and I emphasize free will. So when I see somebody's future, it has to already exist in the matrix. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to see it. I've been able to see where people are going to live, who they're going to marry, the person's name, even sometimes, not always, but a lot of times names will come through. So for me to get those details, that means it has to already exist in time. So, and then I explain to people, if you don't want that future, oh, this is so complex, but people's thoughts and beliefs are what create our lives. It creates our future. So in the timeline, if people don't want that, like I've been able to see people headed for cancer, and I know why. And I go, look, if you change this, this, and this, that won't ever develop, or you won't get a divorce, or you won't, you'll be able to have children because of the beliefs they've got. So when I can see their future and know that if they change their thoughts and beliefs, that will change their future. And it's like, wow, we're creating out of this present moment. So, and a lot of the mystics have said all that exists is this present moment. And when you realize that, then one, you can change your past and your future, by the way, because it's all flexible. And then in order to quantum leap and be in a different time, okay, now I'm jumping around again, but watch, we think it takes time to accomplish something. But the key is, if it took time, if that was the determining factor, it would take all of us the same amount of time, right? It has nothing to do with that. Things take time based on how long we believe it has to take, and bottom line, how safe we feel having it. So if people go, well, I want a relationship now, I want to be married now. Some people, they do it in, very quickly. Other people, it takes them decades to get married, right? But it has everything to do with their thoughts and their beliefs. So in order to shift time or warp time or quantum leap into it, and we haven't gotten into parallel universes yet, but in order to do that, you just have to change your thoughts about yourself, your thoughts about reality, and how long you think something takes. Does that make sense? Because it's a very, I'm glad you've got an advanced audience, because it's very holographic, which is why it's tricky to describe it in linear terms. But it all exists at the same time, and you're creating out of this present moment. And things only take time if you believe that. I've been able to do things almost spontaneously. Well, you've probably had the experience too, where you have a desire for something and it shows up very quickly. And other times you have a desire for something and it seems to take forever to get there. It has nothing to do with time. That's an illusion. It has to do with your thoughts and beliefs.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. And also, I feel like the frequency that you're able to embody, like if you want a certain experience, if you're really able to embody the feeling and the frequency experience of that, then you'll have it pretty quickly.
That's it. That's the key right there, is the frequency. I know you're talking about shifting the frequencies and aligning and changing our frequencies to evolve or to enlighten or expand, whatever. And that's how you change into parallel universes, other realms, other timelines. It's basically our thoughts, our beliefs, and our emotions. Emotions are energy and motion. It basically, that's how you change your life. Excuse me, as your thoughts, your beliefs, and the emotions that go with it. That's the energy that raises your frequency, that makes it easier to be in a different, well, let me explain it this way. And this is parallel universes too. If I'm jumping around, I apologize.
Okay.
But let's say you're listening to a radio show, and that's a frequency, right? You're listening to the radio. You get to, in that frequency and that vibration, because that's what it is. It's a frequency. It's waves of information. And if you turn it on 99.9, you're at the frequency of 99.9. You get to hear the music, the sound, the talk, everything that's coming out of that. So that becomes your reality. If you're listening to something you don't want to listen to anymore because it's a depressing song or whatever, you change the station, right? Let's say now you change it to 107. Now it's different frequency, a different bandwidth. Band, and now you're going to listen to the music and the talk that's going on 107. 99.9 is still around you all along, right? It's still vibrating, it's still a frequency around you, but you're not tuned into it. It's no longer part of your reality. Now the reality is 107, right?
Mhm.
So that's how all those realities are happening simultaneously, just like different radio waves are happening simultaneously, but you're not tuned into them. So if you want to change your life, and again, that's parallel universes, different frequencies. If you want to change your life, you change the frequency. And the way you change a frequency is your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions. That changes your vibration and it changes your reality.
Oh, I love that. So that brings up a question. If you want to have an experience that you haven't actually had, let's just take, for instance, this is about ascension. So if you want to ascend your frequency, and by that I mean bring your frequency up, have, you know, more mystical experiences, have more magic in your life, have more multidimensional experiences, but you've never had that yet, so you don't know what it feels like. What can you do to help yourself get there? Because it's for some people, the idea of experiencing something they haven't experienced doesn't, how do you do it?
Great. I love these questions. It's focus. First of all, it's believing that it's possible, and it's focusing. So we've all shifted our beliefs. I mean, our experiences, even if we haven't had them before. So what I want to say is, it's a different state of consciousness, just like dreaming, daydreaming, being awake, meditating. They're all just different states of consciousness, different states of focus, right? So when you're sleeping, it's not the same as when you're awake, and even when you're daydreaming, right? So all you're doing is shifting your state of consciousness or your focus or your awareness. So in order to go to this higher level or different frequency, number one, you have to believe it's possible. Okay. If people are daydreaming and they don't believe it's possible to be awake, they're not going to be awake, right? So you have to believe it's possible. And then you shift your state of awareness or your focus. And so basically meditation helps, being able to calm and shift. That's one of the ways you can shift your attention or your focus. You're just going to a different state of consciousness. And so having these experiences, well, that's why I teach it in my classes. Having these different states of awareness is getting quiet enough. That's the next thing you got to do, is learn how to be still,
Mhm.
because we get so chatter in our minds that we just keep repeating the same stuff, the busy, the busy. So one, believing it's possible. Two, well, actually two is not being afraid of it. You'd be amazed at how many people are afraid to have a different experience because they're afraid either they will have it, they won't have control over it, or bad things will happen. So not being afraid of it, not being afraid to kind of let go and go to that level or to shift your awareness. Number three then is really learning how to be still, how to be quiet. And so that's why meditation or just calming and breathing, that helps you really learn how to shift to another state. And then it's consciously, believe it or not, it's a conscious intention to shift to another level of awareness. Now, when people go, I don't know how to do that, you do it all the time. You go from daydreaming to being alert, or listening to somebody, you know, you're daydreaming, so you're listening, you're thinking of something else, and then you shift your consciousness to pay attention to someone and what they're saying. Or you can shift your consciousness and hear background noise, like there's birds singing in the background. All you're doing is shifting your focus. So what this is, to go to those higher elevated listening of being psychic or intuitive or whatever, is getting so quiet that you intentionally shift your focus to hearing on a really quiet level what else you're getting. Or you can see it as expanding, and that's non-local mind, expanding your awareness to see you're not just limited to what's going on right in front of you. Do you understand how you could shift to listen to the birds in the background instead of the noise that's right in front of you? You're just shifting your focus. Does that make sense? And then
Yeah.
what you get to do is, once you start having those experiences, the next step is to trust that that was real, not that you just imagined it or you made it up, that it was real. And then the next stage is practicing, because we've learned everything by practicing. We've learned how to walk, eat, talk, drive, write, all of those things by practicing. So all you've got to do is, you've got to acknowledge, though, that you actually had that different state of awareness. or focus, and then keep practicing going there. That's how you learn anything. Does that make sense? And then
Yeah.
one of the final steps is acknowledging that you did it, giving yourself gratitude that you did it. And it's not losing control. It's actually, and I don't like the word control, but it's basically expanding your awareness. So if someone says, like you're talking to someone, they go, all I can hear is you, all I can hear is you. You could go, can't you hear those birds singing in the background? What are you talking about? I'm focused on you. But if you get quiet and you expand, you go, oh, I can hear those birds in the background, right? It's just expanding your focus or shifting your focus. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does. And also what you said about acknowledging and believing, what you're experiencing is real, because like one of the stories that I hear all the time from people is, I think you said it too, you have these experiences as a child or growing up, but you don't believe, or you don't make it real because society tells you it's not real. Society shuts it down. Your parents like, oh, you're just, like a lot of us got told you have an overactive imagination, or what are you talking about, or like, don't say that at church, So we shut it down because we don't have the support to say, oh yeah, that's real, go with it. I think that's shifting a lot now, where people are able to talk about their experiences. That's why I wanted to have a show like this, so people know, what, lots of people have these experiences. We all have the capacity to have these types of experiences if we practice, if we talk about it, if we have community, if we learn and get a mentor. So that's why you're here.
What I like too is that even though I've been having, and many people have these spiritual experiences or, outside the box experiences. What's cool now is that if you study quantum physics at all, I say quantum physics and most people, it's like it goes right over their heads. Like, I don't know what that means. But basically, science is actually starting to prove what spiritual mystics have been saying forever. So it's kind of fun to see what
Yeah.
science is basically saying. Quantum physics is saying it's all energy,
Mhm.
and then it's all consciousness, and that consciousness is creating everything. It's so
Yeah.
funny. I mean, Heisenberg and Schrodinger and Einstein, they're all saying that, that our consciousness is creating all our experiences, that there's no way to even prove an objective reality. That's what's mind blowing. And so what I want to do is be so awake and aware. And that's one of the reasons to have enlightenment or advanced consciousness is life gets easier. It gets more fun. It gets more magical. You start seeing that you're creating your own reality instead of feeling like you're a victim at the effect of outside circumstances. You see the connection in everything and what shows up for you. It's so much more fun. It's so much more exciting, but people have to learn to love themselves enough to trust that what they're doing, because that is going to be positive. We've been raised to believe that if you have that much power, you could make a mistake or hurt somebody or do bad things, or power is evil. And I go, no, this is like an internal ability that we have to create. We're creators. So learning to trust ourselves, that it's fun, that it's easy, and that we're loving beings, and that we're positive beings, and that we're caring beings. Then people, that's another huge element of people being able to expand into this level of consciousness. That's what I meant about fear. If people have fear that they'll either be bad, or they'll see something bad, or do something wrong, or do something that's, not supposed to happen, they're just going to limit themselves. When you start feeling that, knowing that you're a loving, positive, powerful being, you allow yourself to expand into those levels of awareness and of abilities. The abilities are amazing when you start tapping into this.
Yeah, definitely. And also about fear. I know that's something that for me, I've had to confront a lot of that. And I've gotten to a place where I don't need to be fearless. That's not what it is for me. It's being courageous in the face of fear, because fears are going to come up. It's the human experience, but to say courageously, yeah, you know what, that's up for me. And I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to expand anyway. I'm going to look in that box anyway, because I want to know more.
Well, look, when we were little, we weren't afraid of going from crawling to walking. We're just
Mhm.
like, yeah, that gives me more freedom. We just did it. We didn't have oh no, I can't walk. I'm afraid. What if I fall down? We just did it. It's over time we've learned not to trust ourselves, that it's okay. No, oh, you might get hurt or you might hurt somebody else. Don't do it. So that's one, just realizing that we come from love and we come from good intentions. So we don't have to be afraid. And if we are afraid, like you said, the more you do it, the less afraid you get, because Like, well, I'm afraid I can't drive. I can't. Oh, and then you start doing it. It's like, oh, what's the big deal? You get over it by doing it.
Right. I heard you tell a really cool story about how you met your husband. And do you want to share that it had to do with creating a parallel reality for yourself?
Yeah. So that's one of the most dramatic ways that I've learned to shown people how to do parallel universes. So we already touched on what a parallel universe is, but let me explain to people so then I can show how you do it. Because it's going outside of time too. Um, Parallel universes are the same as like radio frequencies, what I just described. Okay. There are other universes or realms or frequencies, we'll just call them frequencies, going on around you all the time. And we think there's only one. So we stay focused in it. But according to quantum physics, every time you make a choice, either to go left or right, there's another you. This sounds very like science fiction, but remember, a lot of stuff that used to be science fiction is now science fact. And this is quantum physics. They have evidence that parallel universes are a real thing. So what they're saying is every time you make a choice or a decision, let's say you decided to wear white and then went, well, no, I think I want to wear blue today or brown. And then so one aspect of you, believe it or not, goes off and has a life where you're wearing white today. And another is you going off wearing blue or brown today. Or you are headed for a meeting. I'm just explaining how this works so that when I describe what I did, it makes more sense. Let's say you're on your way, you're walking downtown and you're headed for a meeting and you see, oh God, I'd love to stop in there and get a cup of coffee. I don't have time for that. And you proceed to the meeting. Well, there's another you, honestly, that split off and went in to get that coffee and then went on to the meeting. Now they're so close, you probably don't realize that they're two different yous having two different experiences. Sometimes we make dramatically different changes. So for example, there's one you that maybe married someone that you met in high school. There's another you that maybe never got married at all. There's another you that married somebody that you met, 5 years ago, right? All of those, you believe it or not, exist. When we have deja vus, this feeling of deja vu, there's a good chance what you just did was connect with another one of you. Okay, so that you go, I feel like I've done this before. So years ago, actually 36 years ago now, I met a musician. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my partner. I just totally fell head over heels. He wanted nothing to do with me. He's like, I don't like blondes. I don't ever want to be with anybody. No way, not happening. I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my gosh. Then he actually moved to the East Coast. I'm in California. I'm in Santa Barbara. He moved to the East Coast to be in a band there. And he's like, I'm not in love with you. I never will be. You're not my type. Go away from me. And he moved away. So 2 years into it, I was like, oh my gosh, and I still couldn't get him on my mind. And I hadn't heard from him 2 years now, okay? And I started studying Seth and parallel universes and quantum physics. And I went, every time we discover something like aerodynamics, we should be able to apply those new laws of physics to be able to improve our lives, right? So we didn't know we could fly until they encountered aerodynamics, which already existed, but we didn't know that. But now we have more freedom because we can fly, right? So I went, okay, I've got to learn how to apply this then. So I did a meditation one day, really deep meditation, and I realized that I was going to call this universe number one. In universe one, I didn't feel lovable. I didn't feel attractive. I didn't feel like this guy, that I was good enough for him, that he wasn't attracted. So I noticed in parallel one that my beliefs, my emotions, and my thoughts were pretty negative and not believing in myself. So I did this meditation where I envisioned this membrane, or like curtains or a membrane, and I opened it up and I went into universe number two. And I looked around and I went, no, I still see this guy on the East Coast, and I would feel guilty trying to bring him back, and he wouldn't be happy, and he's already got a life there. So I went, so universe two is not where I belong. So I imagined opening up another membrane, went into universe number three, kept looking around going, nope, not this one. I feel guilty. He's happy where he is. So I kept going into different membranes. I got to universe, we'll call it number five. And this is so cool, you guys. I imagined opening it up, and in that universe, I felt a shift in me. I swear to you, I could smell the grass. I could feel the air. It felt just as real to me as this one. as the one the one where I felt that I was in present tense. This one was just as real. I knew it was real. I looked around, I looked at the guy on the East Coast, and in that reality, I saw him giving notice to the band. I saw him breaking up with whatever girl he was seeing at the time. Then he was going to leave the East Coast. He was going to go up to Iowa to see his meditating friends. He was going to go to Los Angeles to see his rock and roll friends. And he was going to come back to Santa Barbara to be with me, because in that reality, I felt like we really loved each other. I could feel it in my emotions, in my thoughts, in my beliefs. And I knew that reality, that realm was just as real as universe number one was. I felt it in every cell in my body, my emotions, whatever. So I came out of the meditation. I felt like I was still in that reality. 2 weeks later, I got up the nerve to track down where he was. Now, I'm not stalking. This is not about stalking. If you think you're stalking somebody, that's in parallel universe number one, right? So in that universe, I called him. I go, well, why wouldn't I call him? He's in love with me, so it's okay. And I asked him how he was, and it had been 2 years. And he goes, well, 2 weeks ago, I gave notice to the band. I was seeing this girl, but that's not working out. She's too young for me. I'm going to go to Iowa. I'm going to go to Los Angeles, and I'm coming back to Santa Barbara. We have been together now over 30 years.
Wow.
Over 30 years. Now, here's the deal. You would think that, well, that was just, I didn't stalk him. He had already made that decision 2 weeks prior to that, because I was in that universe. I was in that realm. Exactly that same thing. In universe number one, all my girlfriends were single, and they were complaining about it. There's no good men. I want to be married. I want to have children. When I shifted into universe number five, all of my girlfriends were also in relationship. They were all engaged. They were all planning on having children. They were all in relationship. And this was like 2 weeks after I did this meditation. That's how quickly I went into a new reality. Now, back then, 30 some years ago, I wanted to go up to them all and go, in this other universe, you were single. And here you, but I figured 30 years ago, they don't think I was crazy. So I didn't bring it up to them. But I shifted my thoughts, my beliefs, and my reality. I went into a different frequency, and my reality literally changed like immediately.
Wow. I love that. And I love how you figured out like the opening of the membranes. For somehow that just makes sense. Like I've never actually heard anyone describe it like that. But like, yeah, you like opened up a portal and stepped through into a different one, and that's where the stuff you want is. I love that visual and that method, and I imagine there are infinite numbers of methods, of ways that you could do that, but that's one. Open up a portal.
Really, there are no boundaries between the universes, just like there are no boundaries between station number one and station number two. Do you know what I mean? The radio stations, there's no actual boundaries, but it helped me have a visual and a visceral experience of going into a new realm. Everyone's different.
Yeah, I know someone else who does that consciously and very effectively. And she has a technique where she uses a Rolodex, because that's what she had when she was growing up. She gets into a Rolodex and just changes her reality. And, so it's just whatever you come up with that works. And then I just love how real it was. Like it wasn't, you thought it was going to be real, or you had to hold the intention for it being real. You just stepped in there and it was real.
Well, and the cool thing about doing it this way is it's not about having to overcome something and work really hard. I didn't have to go, oh my gosh, I need to figure out how to get him in my life, or I need to overcome that and maybe meet somebody else. I didn't have to work hard to overcome something. What I did was I dropped the belief in that reality. I just dropped it. I didn't fight with it. I didn't overcome it. I didn't try to do any childhood thinking about why, my dad left and I had to process all that. Just when I'm done with that reality. Now that's one way to do it, but it's harder work and it takes long. So what I did was I just dropped it, and I dropped number 2 and I dropped number 3, and I just went into number 5 and put all my energy and my emotions and my focus and my belief in number 5, because I knew it was real. I could feel it. It's just as real as anything else. So I didn't have to work that hard. I didn't have to work hard at all. It was our imagination. That's why Einstein actually said imagination is more important than knowledge, because what we think we know can limit us. And so we think, at the core of our problem here, we think there's only one reality, and there's not. there's an infinite number of realities, and we are infinitely able to, we're infinite beings, so we can create any reality we want, but we get very attached to one reality. We get very emotionally or charged or dramatic about it. So
Yeah.
we stay attached to what we think is the one, even though we're changing all the time. We just don't know it because we don't see boundaries or doors or membranes. We don't see it. So we don't realize we're changing all the time. Okay. So it's easier to do it that way because you don't have to struggle with overcoming or changing or fighting with or whatever the old reality. It just shifts into the new one easily.
Mm, I love that. And that is, like even just you sharing that for a lot of people, I think that'll open up the doorway to like, oh wow, I could actually do that. I'm going to play with that. I'm going to experiment. And it also reminds me of, they say there's that experiment or that picture where they draw a point and the line between the points on a paper plate, and then they fold the paper plate, and it's like that's how you go through a wormhole. You don't have to travel in space and time to get there. You just go directly through, and you're in a different reality.
That's it.
That would be another style of getting there.
Shifting our beliefs about reality. And we've been, can you imagine the first person that came back and said, no, you guys, the world's round. No, it's not, it's flat. How can people live on the other side of the world? They'd fall off. So the first person that came back and said it's round, no one's going to believe it. This is a new level of understanding reality that is so much more expansive. And you used a key word, play.
Mm.
It's so much easier to change frequencies and change vibrations when you're at a lighter level, which is mean you're playing, you're having fun, you're using your imagination in a way that makes you happy. It's so much easier because depressed or angry or unhappy, all of those energies are so dense that it can be more challenging to shift over. But all you got to do is change your thoughts, your beliefs, and your imagination, and imagine something happier and fun and see what that frequency is like. That's what the law of attraction, that's what's about. You change your frequency, so then you're in the same frequency or the same bandwidth, whatever, as what you want, because you've already shifted into believing or knowing that's real. That's shifting your frequency.
Absolutely. And as you're speaking, I'm an embodiment coach. So I teach people to listen to their bodies. So I'm like, my high heart wants to say something. So we have this whole heart center. And I feel like the part like above my heart, speaking, like that's where the play comes from. Like make sure that you make it light and have fun and go through the heart. Like make sure you imbue your reality through the heart, not don't effort through your mind, play through your heart portal, and then you're going to get really great stuff.
And to know that you are way more expansive. People get very attached to their dramas, and we're stories. We are story people. We love entertaining ourselves. We're creators, so we love our stories. But people get very attached to their stories and their dramas. We all do it. It's not a judgment. But if you get attached to your drama and your story, you're just going to stay there longer. And nobody's going to benefit from that other than people have learned, yeah, but if I tell my story, people will love me, or they'll feel bad for me and they won't expect much of me. And they go, okay, you can keep doing that. Do it until you get the juice out of it. But when you're ready to let go of that, just let go of it and start telling a different story,
Yeah.
even to yourself, right? And
Yeah.
to know that we're very expansive beings. You're not limited to your body. Your soul and your beingness is way beyond your body. So you can create anything you want. There are no limitations except for the ones we believe in.
That is so true. And this summit is teaching me more and more about that with every conversation. From you don't need food or water to survive. I mean, that's blowing a lot of the reality matrix.
Yep.
Like what? You can live how long without food or water?
Yep.
And yet here's somebody doing it and scientifically proving that it can be done. And so that leads me to addictions. I believe that our addictions keep us in the 3D reality, where whether it's food, substances, but also drama, like you said, like that addiction. There's an addiction to drama. I'm sure everybody knows somebody who there's always drama going on in their life because that's how they feel. That's how they're addicted to that adrenaline. And but that will also keep you rooted in 3D. So you got to be able to give some of that stuff up so that you can play in higher dimensions.
Well, and we like emotions. We're kind of emotion. That's one of the reasons we're on the planet, is to have physical experiences and have emotions. That's why people go to movies or watch movies. It's like, I want to feel what it feels like to be frightened or angry or a champion, or yeah, let's go save the world, or oh, romantic and love, or now sad. We like our emotions. It's just sometimes, like you said, we get addicted to them and then we can't shift. It's like watching the same movie over and over and over again. Do you like the movie? No, not really. Why are you staying in the theater and watching the movie over and over again if you don't like the movie? Go change the movie. We know how to change the
Mm.
movie by changing the channel on our TVs or on the radio or on, who we're talking to on our cell phones. We don't realize we can do that with our own lives because we think we're limited beings, and we're not.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Stop watching that same show that has 5,000 episodes. You're so bored of it. You can change the channel and walk into a new reality, a parallel reality where it's way more fun, way more interesting shows going on.
And our consciousness is our souls, and who we are is our consciousness. Like, that's why I can do remote viewing, because I know that non-local mind, we're not limited in our bodies. We've been taught that consciousness comes from our brains, and it's not. Our brains are like, if you go and take apart a TV, I don't know the new ones now, the flat screens, but if you take apart and you'll see all the circuits firing up, and so, but the programs you're watching are not generated from all those circuits. That's the focusing mechanism, that the TV waves are coming in, or the satellite waves are coming in, and the TV is the focusing mechanism, right? Our consciousness, our souls are way beyond our body. Our body's just the focusing mechanism so we can have physical experiences. But your soul is way expansive. Your consciousness is way expansive. So for people that like, I want to be with my soulmate, I don't know how to meet my soulmate. It's like, first of all, you can manifest it, right? But second of all, you can also connect with someone out there by expanding and already communicate with that person. We've all had the experience of thinking of someone and then they call or we run into them. That's because your consciousness was so expanded. You already felt that person.
Mhm.
And so you connected, and then it shows up in physical reality. So learning how to really expand your awareness so it's out of just this body. You can talk to people, you can see things, you can see where to go, there's all kinds of things you can do when you expand your awareness and not think you're limited to your body. And it goes out of
Absolutely.
time and space. It goes beyond time and space. There are no limits. It's not just you can connect on the physical realm expanding like that, but you go outside of time and space too.
Hmm. I love that. Yeah, and also, even though we're not to be attached to the body, our body to me is this multi-dimensional feedback system. It is our TV. It is our, receiver of the frequencies, and we can learn to interact through the body and listen. Like the body will tell you, intuitively what it needs and how to get through some of these portals, right?
I
Um,
think it's like a thermometer, I mean, a barometer. Your body
mm,
will tell you what's going on with your thoughts and your beliefs. So that's why people go, get stomach issues. It's like your body's going, okay, you're stressing, you're stressing, you're stressing, to give us feedback so that you can shift your thoughts and beliefs, what you're doing. It's not necessarily about food. And same thing with illnesses. I mean, people like Anita Morjani, she died of cancer,
right.
had a near-death experience, came back, and there's not one cancer cell in her body. So our bodies are actually made of energy. They're light, they're energy. So they're not limited. We don't have to be afraid of what we're doing with them. They're not fragile. They're made of energy and light. And they're fragile if you think they are, but they can also regenerate and renew. And it's like they're new cells all the time. There's new energy all the time. So again, the concept is we're not limited beings. So having experiences, choosing to focus on that and allow yourself to have those expanded consciousness experiences, having those, even healing your own body. I mean, we do it with our minds. That's why the placebo effect works. Placebo, where they just give people sugar pills and they're told that they're a powerful healer, and people get well and it was just a sugar pill. It's the power of who we are in our consciousness.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. So, as you're talking, I'm thinking of the Mandela effect, and how, and that's when people experience like the reality that they're in is not the one they remembered, or some big thing happened that they're sure it happened, but nobody else remembers it happening, or just maybe a few people. Would that be, do you think that's like an example of that person has walked into an alternate dimension or alternate, a parallel life,
Yep,
and that didn't happen there, or that did happen there?
exactly what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
because my mom remembers things happening that I go, there's no way that happened. And I go, we were in different movies at that time. Yeah, that's, and then we intersect in this one. And to explain to people, when you go into parallel universes, the same people are going to be there. They're just on a different channel. I mean, we do that with movies. I mean, Tom Hanks has been in like what, 40 different movies or something. It's still Tom Hanks. He's just in a different movie. So your friends, your loved ones, if you want them to be, they're still in that in your movie with you. They're just acting differently because now you're acting differently and you're vibrating at a different frequency. So I've done this with people. When there's people you don't get along with, right? And I go, okay, I don't like that reality. I'm not going to be in that reality. I'm going to go into one where we're all getting along. And doggone it, that's what happens in that one.
Mm,
Lighter, they're happier because I shifted my frequency. I'm in a different realm, and they're different there.
right, exactly. And
I
that's
didn't have
where
to change them. I didn't have to control them. I just went where we're different together.
I love that. It just makes it so much easier, doesn't it? Okay, I have this question I want to ask you about, because my daughter is an environmentalist and studying geology, about how we affect the climate and the weather, from fires, tsunamis, hurricanes. There's so much weather issues going on in the world right now. I feel like it's really relevant. Can we have an effect on the weather?
We do. We do. Just so you know, so on a small level, I'll tell you, I've been able to get it to rain here. We've changed hurricane directions, all kinds of stuff. Okay, and I could give you all kinds of examples, but watch. You know that if you're around somebody, if you've walked into a room and you're near somebody and they're really angry, you see, hey, you can feel it, right? You
Oh,
can
yeah.
feel that frequency, that vibration coming off of somebody. You're just like, ah. Or if somebody's really happy and it's easy to be around them, you're fine being around them because you can feel their energy. Well, that energy doesn't just stop at your body or your aura. Even though I can see auras, it goes out beyond that. It goes out. And so we do affect the Mother Earth, we affect the energy of the weather. And so the reason we're having, my belief, the reason we're having so many fires is because of all the anger that's going on out there right now. The reason we're having so many off balance things is because it's a reflection of our off balance. The reason we're having so much flooding or rain or whatever is because there's so much emotional energy. Water is emotion or grief or tears. So when the masses, I mean, you can see how it affects if you're just around one person. If the masses are doing that, oh my gosh, of course we're going to affect the earth and the weather. Well, let's put it this way. It's all a reflection of who we are. It's all an extension of who we are. You're having an individual experience and you can join with the masses and have a mass experience. Now, what I've done is I'll go into a universe where everybody in that one is like, okay, the earth's going to be okay. We're sending love to it. We're sending energy to it. And then in my reality, that's what it looks like, is that the
Mhm.
earth is healing itself. And we've got rain, and we brought rain to California. Believe me, we did a mass, like a group on on social media. Okay, pray for rain, pray for rain. We got so many people doing that. We had so much rain, we had flooding. So it's like, oh, okay, back it off, back it off, back it off.
Careful what you ask for.
I went to Hawaii once. I did a trip, and as we were landing, the pilot goes, "Well, the forecast, sorry, is going to be rain all week." And I went, "Oh no, 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 not acceptable. Not on my vacation in Hawaii. Not rain." So I went to sleep that night, going, "Nope, I'm seeing blue sky." In my reality, I'm in a Hawaiian island, Maui, where it's blue sky. The next morning, I woke up, blue sky, no rain. I went out on the beach, my little private beach, because I was at a private area. And an hour later, all these people were coming through the bushes onto my little private beach. And I'm like, okay, I'll share it. That's okay. And this honeymoon couple came up to me and they said, we have driven around this entire island. It is pouring rain everywhere but this beach. And we looked up and all you could see was blue sky. So it's like, how's that possible? And they go, we don't know, but we're telling you, we've driven around the whole island and it's pouring rain except for here.
Wow. And I totally believe that. I have had experiences like that. And I have a client who she was out in a boat for a family day out in the boat, and similar story. Clouds were rolling in, it was going to rain. And she said she looked at the clouds and just said, "How about no rain?" And she's like, they went away. Like the clouds just started moving the other direction, and they found their sun. And didn't have to go in. And I'm like, that is just really cool. I know that we can do that.
And what limits people is they go, wait a second, you don't have a right to do that. What if it needed rain there? You can't do that. And they go, you guys, infinite realities. In my reality, it didn't need rain because it had enough rain. Everything was green. And people will limit themselves if they're afraid that, well, it's only for the highest good of everybody. And they go, no, you're in your own reality. You create anything you want. The other realities are all going on at the same time. I'm not harming anyone, I'm not harming the earth. Do you understand? So that can
Yeah.
limit people because they're afraid, well, I can't do it because it might affect somebody else. And I go, everything you do could affect somebody else. That would make you not do anything.
Right. And that goes back to your story about, you said it took you 5 realities to get to the one where it felt aligned for you to have your husband, right? It felt like you said the first few you like tapped in, you felt it like, no, that would be like infringing upon his free will. If I tried that here, it's not going to work here. But oh, here's one. This one works.
And this one, he loves me and I love him. There's no force, there's no infringing, there's no bothering him, there's no control. We both love each other in this one.
Yeah. And so just to keep that in mind, if you feel like something you're doing is going to be, not the right thing for somebody else, don't do it there. Like create, open a new portal or a new parallel life and go in that one and feel if it's right there. Because there is one, if there are infinite realities, there is one where it is okay and where it works. So if you have, I think, the idea here is if you have any feeling of, ooh, this doesn't feel right within you, then it's probably not right. But you
Mhm.
can find a place where it does feel right, and that's where you belong.
And what happens is an internal shift in your own beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and your imagination. That's how you are drawn into the ones that align with you. And there are infinite number. If there's infinite number of realities where I'm with him. It's
Hmm.
not just one, it's infinite.
I love that. That's
Yep.
so cool.
So it's not that hard to find one that aligns with that. But do you understand the shifts in me? The shifts in me to match that frequency.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you have to believe it and choose it and find it then.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
really.
imagine
It's
we
not
were
even about creating, because creating's efforting, right? It's about finding it and stepping into it.
it already exists.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a thought or an imagination, it instantly comes into form. You just have to align with what you've already created.
Hmm. That's so good. I love it. Thank you. um,
Isn't woo woo? This is quantum physics.
Yeah, yeah, I'm fascinated by quantum physics. I love it. And so that's this conversation. It's such a good way to, it's kind of like taking the quantum physics concepts and applying them. Like, this is how you can make this work in your life. Because, there aren't that many people, and there are some teaching that, but teaching it practically, this is a really powerful thing. Which leads me to, you have an amazing offer. It's a $97 offer of your Quantum Leap Workshop e-course. And from what I understand, you're addressing a lot of these things we talked about today and teaching people how to apply them in this course. Would you tell us about that?
Right. I teach people how, I mean, it's full. I mean, it's really full. I teach people how to be more psychic or intuitive, teach people how to do remote viewing. We bend spoons. We go into meditations where you get to experience other lives,
Mm.
past lives, future lives, whatever you want to call them. Teach people how to connect with people who have crossed over on the other side, or their guides, basically just beings in another frequency. So I'm teaching, we do guided meditations. We do partner sharing. So if you want to do it with other friends in the room, you can do that. But I basically show people, give them literally practical experiences, how to expand your consciousness to experience any of these that you want.
Wow. I love that. And I mean, for $97, wow. And that's also at a discount for the viewers of The Alchemy of Ascension. So thank you so much for that. Pam, do you have any final words that you'd like to leave us with?
And by the way, that was a $700 workshop that they're going to be getting for
Wow. That
e-course
is
147. So I'm giving it to your group only for $97 as a
that is
discount.
so generous. Thank you.
So what I want to leave people with is, you guys, I love that you're more advanced thinking. That's why you're on this summit. You want to expand. You know something in you, your soul is telling you. And I really believe we're expanding right now. We're evolving. We are doing that as a mass consciousness. And so you guys are on the cutting edge. So trust what you're feeling. Listen to your intuition. Play with some of these ideas. Don't make it hard work and struggle. You're just going to make it harder. I even teach people how to see energy fields or auras, okay? How to heal, that kind of stuff. So listen to your intuition, listen to your soul. You are an infinite being, and it's getting more and more fun. We're supposed to be playing and having fun and creating now, not working so hard. That's old consciousness. It's not about struggle, pain, and unless you want that movie, okay? But it's not about that anymore. It's easy, it's fun, and so I'm doing everything I can to share people, and I've done it, I've proven it, and other people have proven it. As I'm not the only one that's doing this, so it's okay to get in the game. It's time. It's all right. We are evolving. So have fun with it. No fear. It's okay. And if you get fear, go do it anyway. Just don't give up.
Right. Courage. Wow. Thank you so much, Pam. This was just an amazing talk. I loved every minute of it. And for everyone who's watching, be sure to follow the link on the page to get Pam's wonderful Quantum Leap course. It sounds amazing. I can't wait to get it. And also reply to today's email and let us know, what was it about this conversation that really impacted you, that made a difference, that was your aha moment? Reply and let me know what that was, and I will be sure to share whatever it is that you tell me with Pam, so she can know what you're thinking. And that is the end of our hour. Thank you so much again, Pam. I love who you are, your generosity. You have such a heart of service, and I know you're really out to help raise the frequency of the entire reality and help all of us do that. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And people can go to auracolors.com.
Yes, auracolors.com. Get your aura color quiz done. I did. I'm a blue and a violet.
And yellow.
Oh, and yellow. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Pam. And thank you everyone for watching. Namaste.